Okay. No, China is very nuanced about what it does. In some way, China is signaling that you can't take us for granted. We are the dominant superpower in Asia. So whether you look at it in the South China Sea, you look at it's flying its airplanes over another country, doing exercises in the sea with Japan. So is China trying to tell everyone that I am the dominant superpower in Asia, and hence you cannot take me for granted? What do you think? Why are the Chinese doing this right now? And where is it headed?
Are you asking me that question?
Yes, Mr.
Well, I think the Chinese have been doing this because let's just go back several months to the US-China trade negotiations, which were happening in 2019. And there are a lot of accounts now that confirm that the Chinese came to know about this Wuhan virus in November 2019. And by the time the world was given a warning, it was I think just in the first half of February 2020 this year. Now the Chinese signed a deal, I think on 15th of January, a trade deal with the US. And in that trade deal is very interesting. There's a American journalist called Danielle DiMartino Booth. And she was interviewed on a show. And she said that there's and I'm just quoting her, that buried in this deal was an out clause, a very clever out clause that the Chinese made sure was in there. That said that if there was any act of God, a pandemic, then they didn't have to make good on what they'd committed to buy from the United States. Now, as per that trade deal, the Chinese had to buy $250 billion worth of goods from America. And under Article 7.6 of that trade deal, there's a force majeure clause that says in the event of a pandemic, they're not obliged to do that. So they have invoked that clause, and I don't think they're going to fulfill the obligations of buying those $250 billion worth of US farm products. So now the issue is that China then decided to use this opportunity as this pandemic as a weapon of opportunity. And they have, and it's like the epics. What epics govern Indian behavior? It's the Mahabharata and the Ramayana and the law of karma. But what governs Chinese behavior is the philosophy, which is a systemic philosophy of world domination articulated around the time of Confucius during what is called the spring-autumn period of the Eastern Zhou Empire between 777 to 481 BC, before Alexander. However, the Chinese couldn't implement that policy of world domination. And it's only now that Xi Jinping has found that he has the wherewithal to do so, because they have built up themselves up as an economic power, as a military power. But let me tell you one thing, that their military prowess and their weapons have not really been tested in the battlefield. I mean, the US Army is battle-hardened, Indian Army is battle-hardened, but the Chinese Army is not battle-hardened, and they only have, they have conscripts who serve 2-year terms. So, when push comes to shove, as we have shown in that clash in the Galwan Valley, that for 20 of our soldiers that were killed, the Indian Ghatak platoons of the 16 Bihar regiment, they went in and they knocked off 50 Chinese, and they even brought a colonel back who then was traded for the 10 Indian soldiers who had been captured by an overwhelmingly large number of Chinese. So while the Chinese can demonstrate the weapons, it's a good opportunity to see that whether Chinese technology of reverse engineering is as effective as Western technologies. So that proof of the pudding will be in the eating. If it comes to that, we will know who's better.